Sometimes there are just tasks that seem impossible. It's not necessarily that we don't know how to do it or that we don't have the capabilities to actually do the thing that we know how to do. But it's the mere thought of actually doing that task that repulses us to our core. It could be due to dread, anxiety, or just disinterest of actually doing that task. And these mental games that we play in our head makes it impossible. What is actually doable becomes impossible because of these mental games. I'm an EF coach. I've been helping my clients for over 10 years now overcome the impossible. My name is Dan. Welcome back to Executive Functions Coach. Let's aim for 8 likes on this video, pretty please. And as a thank you, here's a dancing chimpanzee. Alright, so here are the 3 steps. Step number 1 is identify why it is impossible for you to start. Is it because of dread, anxiety, or disinterest? Really think about that. Step number 2 is redefine your expectations. What are the expectations that are causing you dread, anxiety, and for you to be disinterested in whatever you want to do? Step number 3 is figure out what that first step is that you have to commit to in order to start that impossible task. So let's go ahead and try this together. Let's grab a piece of paper, grab a pen, and at the top of your paper write, why is it hard for me to start this task? And for me, I'm going to choose a rather mundane task. Something that I've always struggled with, but it's pretty mundane, folding clothes. Alright, let's go ahead and jump into this. Alright, step number 1. Why is it so hard to start this impossible task? Why is it so aggravating and frustrating? Why does it seem so darn impossible? Is it because of dread? Do you have a fear of failure? Fear of being yelled at, fear of being disappointing, fear of just sucking? Or is it good old anxiety? There's so many choices, gazillion billions of choices to make to how to actually go about doing this task. And after that one choice, there's all these other choices that are also affected. There's too many choices that it becomes paralyzing. Or are we just disinterested? We're not engaged in whatever this task is. Like seriously, what is the point of folding and hanging our clothes when we have to unfold it and unhang it to then just hang it on ourselves? Like we're literally the hangers of our clothes. Ask yourself why? Why is it so hard? Is it because of dread, anxiety, or disinterest? Think about that and write it down. Crystallize why it's so hard. After you've done that, let's move on to the next step. Alright, step number 2 is redefining expectations. I want you guys to take a minute and look at what you wrote down as your impossible task and what you wrote down for why it is impossible. And then I want you to take a minute and go ahead and write down what your own current expectation of yourself is for this impossible task. And reflect. And I want you guys to see and realize that a lot of the times it's our own expectations that make something that should be possible seem impossible. And once we're able to redefine our expectations, mold our expectations, reshape our expectations to something that is more comfortable, something that we feel like is more doable, then the impossible becomes possible. Let's go ahead and run through some examples of dread, anxiety, and disinterest and how we can go about reshaping those expectations. Okay, so dread. I want you guys to think about something you really enjoy doing. It could be cooking, cleaning, playing games, going for runs, exercising, sports, whatever you really enjoy. I want you to think about when you first started doing that thing. Was it hard, challenging? Didn't it suck in the beginning? Didn't you fail so many times? But then when you finally succeeded, that satisfaction of finally reaching your goal, that was what propelled you forward. Overcoming, improving, taking a step forward. So what we want to do to redefine our dread is to take the fear of failure and turn it into a desire to improve, a desire to overcome, a desire to be better. For anxiety, for a lot of my clients, what happens is that I have them crystallize their anxiety, really walk through and really write down what they're worried about. Really run through the cycle. And then I ask them, what is a solution that you can provide for what you're worried about that is within your control? And the key is to redefine it to within your control. After so many years of coaching, I am still surprised to this day the solutions that my clients come up with. Because anxiety, no matter how common it is within every single one of us, the solution that works for each of us is different and individualized for ourselves. The solution that helps us gain control back in our lives so that anxiety and the constant decisions that we have to make are no longer overwhelming. When we're able to redefine the expectations around our anxiety into something that we have control over, we feel safer, we feel more confident, and the impossible becomes possible. For the things that are disinteresting, disengaging, it could be about school, it could be about work. For me, it's folding laundry. It's so hard, but I know I need to do it. There's two real reasons. I don't want to look like a slob with wrinkly clothes. And two, I don't want my girlfriend coming into my room and yelling at me for a complete mess. Those are very strong reasons, but sometimes it is just so hard. It's so hard to put away the clothes when all I do is take them off of the hangers and put them on myself. And I'm so tired. By the time I have to actually get to folding and hanging up my clothes, it's the end of my day and I am exhausted. How do I redefine that so it becomes more doable, less exhausting? The idea of doing it becomes less exhausting. Well, for me, I took the big idea of I gotta fold and hang all my clothes, and I made it smaller into something that I thought was doable. I started off by just folding and hanging my shirts. And when I was able to redefine it and make it smaller and make it more doable, I felt more confident in my ability to do it without feeling miserable. And that's really the key. Redefine our expectations. So go ahead and take a minute, look at your paper, and think about what are your current expectations and how can you redefine them so that the impossible becomes possible. Step number 3, commit to that very first step. You know, I used to dread making these videos. I wanted to make them since 2018. It's been 5 years. And what I did was I committed to writing the scripts. And that gave me so much momentum as I got feedback and I actually posted and people actually told me that it helped them. My fear of failure turned into my desire to constantly improve. I used to be super anxious about money. Okay, I grew up really poor. I did not want that to be the case anymore for myself or for my family. I worked so much and I constantly thought about finances. It wasn't until I sat down and committed with my girlfriend to lazy Sundays where we would plan hikes, movies, walking the dog, etc. just to relax that I realized that I didn't have to work so much. I could take a break. Didn't have to worry so much anymore. It's okay, I got this. And yes, I struggled so much with folding and hanging up my clothes. And yes, the first step was to just do my t-shirts. And yes, that led to the pants, the socks, the underwear, etc. And for sure, my girlfriend praising me helped me so much. So what I want to say is the impossible becomes possible when we ask ourselves why it's so hard. When we redefine the expectation as something that we feel is comfortable and safe to ourselves, not to anybody else, to ourselves. And when we commit to that first step, momentum helps us and carries us to the finish line. So go, you got this. Go out there and start the impossible and make it possible. Take care, like and subscribe.